So do you ever go onto YouTube and you see those videos of guitarists giving their rig rundown? Well, today I'm going to give you a rig rundown for electrical troubleshooting. This is my kit that I use whenever we go to the racetrack. If I don't take this kit, our car has electrical problems all weekend long. If I have this kit, nothing ever goes wrong. Imagine that. But Harbor Freight cheapo toolbox you can get. Number one thing, if you have a modern era car, an OBD2 code reader. This one connects to just about anything. It's dirt cheap, like 25 bucks. You download the Torque app onto your phone and you can pull codes from most any car. Must have, digital multimeter. This is the Fluke 101. These, for a Fluke meter, you can't get much cheaper than this. It does your voltage, AC and DC. It'll ohm. It'll do a diode check for you. It'll tell you hertz. I like this. It's super handy. It does 99% of the things I need done. It's quality. I have one of these that I bought at the favorite junkie tool store, and this thing's garbage. You've got to set your individual volt DC settings and stuff. I don't use it anymore. I needed it at one time. Bought it dirt cheap. As always, crimpers, good quality crimpers. I have some parts store crimpers in my junkyard toolbox, and they're garbage. I don't remember where I got these. They're 30 years old and they work. Test light. You want a good long cable. I think this one's 4 foot. I prefer to have a 6 foot cable, but works great. You can diagnose most anything with these. Just keeping the end of this thing straight is the hard part. I love them. For quick diagnosis. You don't have to set it up like you have to set up a multimeter. You put the clamp down on a ground spot and you touch to check for voltage, and it's quick. With a multimeter, you're looking at, you put your probes onto a power and a ground, and you wait a second for the meter to settle down. With this, you can go into a fuse box and hit fuse, and as soon as you see it light up, you know you're good. It saves you time. A good set of wire crimpers, actual wire crimpers for crimping real terminals. These will set you back a little bit. This is an old Mac tool set that I got back when I was a technician, but it's got the letter sizes, and it's if you want to get nice, neat, perfect crimps, that's the tool you need. I have an electric soldering iron here. If I'm working in an area where I don't want to use a soldering torch, if there's fuel vapors in the air, you shouldn't be soldering anyways if the fuel vapors in the air, but if there's sensitive stuff, I tend to use this, and it doesn't get as hot as the torch. I have a pair of automatic wire strippers. They work so-so. If I got to strip a lot of wire real fast, I have these handy. Need your flux and your solder to go along with your soldering iron. You'll want some heat shrink tubing. I have some Nye lubricant. I got this years and years ago when I was a technician, and it's for waterproofing connectors. You fill you get the connectors ready to plug together, and you fill the socket with it, or not fill it, but you put a fair amount in there, and it'll help keep water out while not disrupting the connection. I've got this weird funky pair of crimpers. I don't know why I have it in here. I just do. If you ever make your own spark plugs, spark plug crimpers are handy to have in your box. I'm not sure why I have them in here. Spark plug tester. Plug it into the lead on your spark plug wire and plug the other end on your spark plug, and you should see it light up. If you get the Harbor Freight ones, they're kind of iffy. Alright, opening this up, I've got my micro torch in here. There are newer versions that are smaller and more compact, easier to work with. This one is about 25 years old. Sometimes it works, sometimes it's a pain in the butt. I've got the accoutrements to it here. This is heatsink compound. If you have a GM truck with the small cap HEI, or even an older HEI, I know I had a Mazda RX-7 that had issues with the heatsink not drawing heat away from the from the ignition module. you need a thin layer of this stuff between your ignition module and the distributor housing, and it'll draw away the heat out of that ignition module. Without it, you'll go 3, 4, 5 miles, and then your engine will start misfiring. And it also preserves your ignition module so it doesn't conk out on you on the road. I have a handful of these little diodes for various things. I've got a Noid light. This is a short for solenoid light, but you plug it into your fuel injection harness and it'll flash to tell you if your fuel injector is getting triggered. I have some heat shrink tubing tossed in here, bigger sizes than the other stuff. I've got an assortment of fuses. I've got some the Pacific fuses. I've got some old glass fuses. I've got the little mini fuses. I don't have any of the micro fuses in here. I probably need some. I've got a few little pins for back probing connectors, and I've got De-Soldering Wick. If you ever have to take a component off of the circuit board, De-Soldering Wick is your friend. This stuff is great. You lay it on top of whatever you're trying to get the solder out of, set the heat on it, and just wait, and it'll draw the old solder off of that component so that you can remove it. I also have a 5200 RPM chip for a MSD6AL. I need to put that somewhere else. Jumper wires. An assortment of these is needed for troubleshooting. I've got your regular female terminal ends, male terminal ends. I've got alligator clips. I've got bare wire. You need a selection of just wires that you can plug into different things, different terminal ends to troubleshoot. I've got little short jumpers, little short plugs. I have a bunch of these quilting T-pins. Go raid your wife's stash, get you some of these. You stick this in the back side of a connector and you can easily check for voltage there. Terminals. You can never have enough terminals on hand. I've got ring terminals, I've got blade terminals, I've got butt connectors. I have a handful of, well, if I can find them in here, I thought I had them in here. Disregard. I used to have a bunch of, oh, here they are. Jumper terminals. So that if I have a component plugged in and I want to plug another component into it, I can put the other component on this, plug the original piece on, like that, and both wires will connect to that one terminal. And, I do have a big battery terminal, but I'm not sure how I would attach that to the racetrack. I'd have to hunt down some stuff. I don't normally carry my big crimper to the racetrack. Kind of a new addition here. This is one of these generic terminal kits you can get off of eBay or Amazon. You can make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 wire connectors. These things are dirt cheap. They work pretty good. You definitely want to use that special crimper on these to make the terminal ends real nice and neat. And learn how they go together before you try to assemble one, because the little lock-in pieces have to go in just right. You've got to remember to put your little weather protectors on the ends of the terminals. But great little kit to have. We actually had to build a connector for one of our race cars at the racetrack one time. The heat crumbled the airflow meter connector. Well, we made an airflow meter connector there at the track. And finally, just some wire. I have just some generic wire here. I've got a bundle of it. If we burn up a wire at the track, I can splice a piece in real quick and get us back on track. If you have to do a higher gauge wire, you know what? Put 2 or 3 of these wires together, crimp them in place to that one bigger wire. That'll get you through the race. This is eminently portable, easy to take. I will say these cases are a little fragile. Don't throw stuff on top of them in the back of the truck. But thank you for your time today. Have a good day.